tuned to Yardstyle Live.
Hey, this is Yardstyle Live, brought to you by
Willie's Thatch Roof, Kingston, Jamaica. Oasis in the city. Willie's Thatch Roof, Kingston, Jamaica.
Hey guys, I'm your girl Purple and welcome to this week's episode of Hot 5 Picks, and I'm your Hot 5 Chick. This week's number 5 is Tonight by 450. Number 4, it's I Know by Vybz Kartel. This week's number 3 is Passenger Princess by Valiant. For number 2, it's New York Girls by Chronic Law. And for this week's number 1 Hot 5 Picks, Where the Pan, Asian featuring Governor.
Ooh, in my car canai, my part the night. She said the sea and can't lock off a pipe. Underwater, me synchronize. You never know me a teacher prototype. The girl, where the pan? I'm here hot up the place, catch a pepper.
That was this week's episode of Hot 5 Picks, and I'm your Hot 5 Chick.
Today's guest is Clinton Smith from Image Art Studios. He's Jamaica's premier set design prop masters. He has worked with all of the industry giants and legends, from movies like James Bond to working with DJ Khaled. He has done it all. And we welcome him to Yardstyle Live.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, God is good. I've done a lot of stuff in my time back to Jamaica. I've been back about 27 years. Since I've been back, God has been good. I've done so many colorful stuff with the legends, from Isaiah Lang to Tony Rebel to Sharon Burke. So Sharon Burke will be Fully Loaded, Tony Rebel will be Rebel Salute, Isaiah Lang would be Sting. Then I got into production, and I've worked with almost every artist under the sun, from Bounty Killer to Beanie Man to Sean Paul to the young artists, them to big up on yourself. From Nigeria, Pablo YG, Intense, Jashi, yeah, the beautiful Chensia, Jada Kingdom. Been around the block, yeah.
So what is a prop master? What is that? What do you do?
Well, there's the title prop master is more for, they use that on set for you to delegate certain things during a shoot, but I'm a prop maker, but I've mastered making props. You follow me? So there's a difference, because sometimes if you put that on your resume, they're expecting something different. So I'm a prop maker, I'm a fabricator, but on a different level. I could use any medium to make anything from scratch, you know, so that's the difference.
So how the creative process, how does somebody work with you? What do they say? How the conversation starts?
9 times out of 10 9 times out of 10 sometimes I get a voice note saying that they want something, or sometimes they'll have a picture from Pinterest or from Google, no dimensions. Most of the time they never have any dimension. Most of the time it's just an idea, but I got a gift. So once you start talking to me, it starts to evolve in my head. I could turn it around. I could tell you if it's going to stand up, fall down, if it's going to balance, the measurements. Yeah, it's one of them gifts. I think in 3D. So that's where it usually starts. And then I remember once I was making something for Reggae Lua. Now this is like years ago. It was a camouflage, and they wanted a crash helicopter and they wanted some 50 caliber. They wanted it real. And when I started making it, I remember the promoter called me and said, "Yo, what's your progress?" I said, "Yeah, man, I'm almost finished with the 50 calibers. You know, I'm modifying it and I'm doing the rounds." He's like, "What?" And he's like, "No. Stop right there. I'm coming over." When he came over, he's like, "Clint, you're mad. What are we going to jail? It looked too real." And I had to cut back. And from there, I was like, okay, I guess, yeah, that's something there. So it depends on how real people want it to get. I mean, I've made stuff where when I make it, they're afraid to touch it. And they ask me to make it. Like I've made Dead Chickens. I did it for 2 movies. I did it first for Black Cape, which is Walt Disney, produced by Oprah Winfrey, and then The Inheritance, which is a horror flick that was shot last year in Jamaica. So I'm not sure if it's finished editing, but yeah.
So what's the difference between working on a music video and a movie?
Oh boy, the difference. The big difference, money. The second on that line would be the stress level and the time that you have to turn over what they request. And they're very similar, you know, because most directors, I'm not saying all, but most directors are also creative. And when you're creative, your mind tends to go all over the place. So working with people that are indecisive, they're in both worlds, both the movie and the music video. Because they would say, "Mama, I want this," and then once you show them your creativity or my diversity, then they say, "Clint, you think you can make that, do this and do that?" And I'm thinking, yeah. And then the biggest thing on a movie set, they'll say, "How long is it going to take you to make that?" And you'll tell them, "I'm going to need about 15 minutes. And then they'll register in their head and they'll say, "Okay, you have 5 minutes." And they mean it. So I've been on set with DJ Khaled when we were out. We were out on the beach, Laughing Beach, I think it's in Ocho Rios, and they said to me they wanted to make a 10 by 20 tent. It was supposed to be just in some silk fabric and blah blah blah, but they wanted me to make it really fast, and I had to tell them to slow down because what they wanted me to do, I could have made it in 10 minutes, but then if the wind comes and lift it up with them in it, then I'm liable. So those are the kind of individuals I have to work with, and it's almost impossible to please them because even when you're done, they'll switch it, and then sometimes after you finish, you're like, we change our mind.
All right, so in props, what's one of your most favorite props you have ever made? What do you think?
Wow. Well, one of my most honorable, and this has become my most famous, favorite I should say for me, is I got the opportunity to sculpt Usain Bolt. A sculpture of Usain Bolt was last minute. It's always last minute because initially they wanted some life-size cheetah or an animal that represented speed. And after they went shopping and sent all over, they couldn't find anything. So they're like, "Clint, you know anybody who can sculpt Hussein?" I was like, "Yeah, me."
So is that the statue there?
Yeah, this is it here. It's more abstract, but you know his famous stance. That stand, you know, and it's a combination of so many different materials, you know. And then God was so good, he got to sign it. So yeah, it's 1 in a million, you know. And I got an opportunity to make it, and he was the coolest to work with.
What is it made of?
A whole bunch of stuff. You got to get into my mind, you know, because here's what I do. I don't limit myself. Jamaica is limited on raw material as far as things that you would need to create a finished product, but I've learned how to improvise. So if I need something done, I've been experimenting for so long, and this is where experience beats knowledge. No matter what you know, no matter how much you've read, you will never outdo somebody that has experienced, because experience brings you down that long road of trial and error, and then when you reach a certain point in the road, you've learned so much because of what you've experienced. When you read and you use AI and you use a lot of hearsay, it could set you up to fail. Because again, you've not experienced it, so you will step in that pothole that them never tell you about. Or when you go to the shortcut, you will get that robbery that they never tell you around that corner. That's so. Over the years of experiencing with a lot of different materials, I look at things different. I look at shapes different. I look at texture. I look at objects completely different from the average person, because I will look at something. I'm making a cannon, and I walk into a department store, and I go a cannon, right? Old school cannon. And I go into a department store, and the first aisle I go into is the what do you say, where they have plates and bowls. And the person said, "Well, you're going to make a cannon. Why?" So I use shapes that already exist, and then I could intertwine it or collab it with something else, and the end result is always phenomenal, because that's my gift. That's what God gave me with,
So tell us a story about the dead chicken.
The dead.
What did it start? Tell us how it started.
The infamous
dead chicken.
They
just call you and said, let's have a dead chicken.
Yeah, this dead chicken. Oh boy. So I get a call from the great Miss Natalie Cinecom, and I was just finishing off another production that she was responsible for, and she called me and said, "Clint, can you make a dead chicken?"
Show us again. Show us the chicken again. It's really scary.
Yeah, and it's malleable. See, it's soft. The head. Yeah, because it had to be like dead, but it can't be stiff. It had to be. See, the leg is broken. You can actually see the cartilage. So I get the call, and she said, "I'll get back to you." So she said, "Yeah, we need can you make it?" I said, "Yes." This was like on a Monday. And then I said, "Could you send me a reference?" And she's like, "I'll get back to you." So around Thursday roll around, so she calls me back and said, "Clint, have you made the chicken?" I'm like, "No. You told me you would get back to me." She said, "How long is it going to take you to make it?" Remember when I said earlier in the conversation, "It's going to take me about 2 days." Where she said, "You have about 4 hours." Jaja. So my brain goes into that mode, and instantly must start making from material that I have a yard. It had to be pliable, real to the touch, had to be flexible, and I just went into that mode. I mean, if I tell you exactly what I used, I just started thinking of things that are soft, moldable, and God do the rest. And it was so crazy, because on my way to Portland, because after making it, then I had to drive to Portland. So on my way to Portland, my big son Ricky was detailing the chicken, because I have a son that's more gifted than I am. He's 21. Today's the 22nd, right? Yeah, today's his birthday. Happy birthday, Ricky. Yeah. So while I'm driving, he's detailing the chicken. He's like, "Dad, slow down." I'm like, "Hold on." And we're driving, and he's detailing, and yeah. And then when I got there, Walt Disney has a stipulation in their contract that you cannot be cruel to no animals. So that means I had to tell them where I got the feathers. Did I kill a real chicken? Yeah. So it was interesting, different, but interesting.
So when they saw the chicken, what did their reaction was?
They were blown away. They were blown away. It's sad, but I get more compliments from international production. I have fallen short on a lot of projects. I have people that will not work with me, and it's because in the beginning, it always made my emotions get the best of me. I would see wrongs, and I would have to point it out. I would feel like somebody spoke to me in the wrong way, I may have to tell them about themselves. And one can tell you, I'm 53, and I can tell you, if you're young and you're on your way upcoming, there's something that I learned. It took me too long to learn it, but it's never too old to pass on that knowledge to somebody else. When you go to work, get in, get the job done, get out. Keep your personal feelings to yourself. Learn how to ignore people's responses, ignore their criticism, because It is imperative for your survival. Your number one objective when you go to work as an artist, a dancer, artist, or whether you go as a painter, get ready for criticism. And 9 times out of 10, the criticism comes from the people who don't know how to do your job. But guess what? If they're not paying you, they're indirectly influential in the person that's paying you. And that's why they have a lot of lip, because they could alter the outcome of your next step. I learned that the hard way.
So how we go from James Bond to Bob Marley One Love movie? How that transition?
It wasn't hard. I have a reputation. I'm fast. Really, really fast at what I do. Because again, once you tell me something, it just evolves in my head. And another thing that I said earlier, the reason why I'm ahead of the race is because once I hear that something is coming up, I do my research. It's so important for you to do your research. I said this to you earlier. It is imperative for anything what you do your research. So this means that you don't come out as a designer. Man, I ask, when I was a designer, I came in the industry, and there were people in the industry like 20 years before me, 15 years before me. I'm gonna just zoom past them. I wasn't buck up. I did my research. Anything that's trendy, and I hear my brethren them on the other side of the camera say, yo, here we go on. Never reinvent the wheel. Just make it better. And that's what I've been doing. So once I know something is coming, I do my research. And from I do my research, you can't beat me. Because I'm making sure I'm prepared mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially. So this means if you're a female artist, think of the baddest female artist out there. See what she does, how she dresses, the sound that she has, and you don't have to be like her, but use her as a stepping stone so that you have directives where you're going. And Puffy proved it. Bad name to call it this time in his life, but anyways. He proved it with Biggie. The reason why Biggie was so hot wasn't just because of his lyrics. Because at that time you could have found the next 50 Biggie. Probably better than Biggie. I'm not discrediting Biggie, but what he had, what Puffy realized that he used rhythms from back in the day that has been instilled in our brain for generation after generation. So from you hear it, you start nodding. Before you hear the lyrics, you already know the harmony in your head. And then he laced it with sick lyrics. It ought to be a hit. And that's what I've been doing. I understand the business now, so I know that if Bob's coming up, I need to read up about Bob. And know how Bob lived and where he lived, his lifestyle, things that were in his lifestyle at that era, right? So now it's my duty to now get things that him did use. I'm not waiting for you to call me and say, yo, you know, say Bob Marley did have a radio. Oh yeah, I'm gonna go find 10 radios, so you have 10 to choose from. So the Bob Marley, the transition from the James Bond to the Bob Marley wasn't hard because I learned from James Bond always have an arsenal. So I started a prop house. So I could give you so many things. I could give you a TV from 1950. I could give you a World War II helmet. I could give you a boombox because I go hunting. I have to spend money to make money. You know, because you don't find these things, or no, there's no genie. So that transition is imperative that you do your research, get your tools ready, and from James Bond, the rest is history, because I knew what to expect, and I went ahead and got the raw material or the prop, and ended up with an arsenal. I have a prop house. I have an arsenal of things. So it prepared me for Bob. I have drums, and when I couldn't, it's so sad that when I was not able to, matter of fact, it's so motivational that when they had the Bob Marley movie and they weren't able to get the drums, my son and I learned how to make the drums. Yeah. So I don't stop. I just keep going, and whatever it is that is needed, you supply the demand. We're artists that sing cock up foot. That's what people want to hear. So you have to supply the demand. And I was inspired and impressed because she said, you know, I could do a gospel song. I can do a gospel song, but why? If I do that now and then go do cock up, it's going to be contradictory. So I'm a boss first, get into the industry, and then I could show my diversity, or then I could show what I really want to do. And I also did that reality show called Amazing Race. Amazing Race was
What?
amazing.
What? The CBS,
Yeah.
the Amazing Race to travel all over the world.
Yep. I'm the one who did. All right. If Amazing Race had 50 props, yeah, I did 49 of them. Yeah. At one point, I felt like I was Aquaman. There was a part where I had to make a target that was in the water, and they had to swing from a harness and drop into the target. The target had to be so big, and then they weren't sure, so I had to make like several different sizes, then put it in the water, make sure that it's stabilized, so when they swing, it is. Then I had to make treasure chests, and then they decided to use metal coins for the treasure chest, but they still wanted it to float. Yeah. So, and each of the treasure chests had about 1,000 metal coins. The treasure chest itself weighed probably like 20 pounds, and then when you put 1,000 metal coins, it got like 50 pounds, and they still wanted it to float. So then I had to go in my brain box. I had to create a floating device, put the treasure chest in it, make sure so it's stabilized, but then I had to camouflage the floating device so the treasure chest looked as if it was floating on a log. Yeah, we did so many things. I tell you, we did so many, and the thing is, it was only a 2-day shoot, so we had to do all that stuff probably like a week prior, and they still, some of the stuff that wasn't for specification, we had to wait until we got on set. Then we were on set, so different from making the stuff, I had to be on set doing other stuff, assembling, reassembling. It was crazy. Me and Miss Donna, again, Miss Donna called me for that project, Miss Donna Noble. It was an amazing project, but yeah, man, Amazing Race. It was amazing. It was amazing. Clint Smith, yeah. It's Clinton Smith, but most people know me as CLINT. I got that from my mom. From
Image House Studios in Jamaica.
Yeah, right here at
It's
Jamaica.
in Jamaica. I know up in one part, it's in Jamaica, on Yardstyle Live. We thank you so much for coming and sharing these stories. We don't even get to the Sesame Street, and we don't get to none of them. Something.
Yeah,
But we give thanks
another
for coming.
time. Right, another time. There'll be a part 3 because there's a lot to share. Not about my accomplishments. There's a lot to share on the industry and how to get the best out of the industry, how to get the best out of you as an individual, because that's my main goal. I'm gonna go there. Motivation is not money is not my motivation. I'm motivated by the Creator. I'm motivated by doing my best. Money will come, but I can tell you this: a lot of stories, a lot of lessons can be learned by experience, and a lot of young people coming up, they don't have the experience, so you're gonna buck your toe 1 million times. So when you hear words of wisdom, embrace them and make sure that you implement them when it's time, and success will come. Keep your heart clean though, don't forget.
Where can they find you?
I'm on Instagram, Image House, IMEJE House Studios. The same name for TikTok. And the numbers for my contacts could be retrieved from my brothers on the other side of the camera. I'm available. I have a team. If the job is big, we're there.
Dancehall, forward. What happened to Busy Signal? A man with huge international hits, but with a lot of misses. What are your thoughts?
This week's primetime showcase is Envious by Climax.
Them envious. Should me no give them no hell and no par and the faith for them not like the way we talk. And when we pull up a baiting, it great and the plating where the eyes they get the wrong. We money enough and we raving the weight and the scraping. The breadwinner, them who don't mind be friends with us. How will we do make a that? All them now want to see who me better rap. Protect me head, no wait for who make a talk. Bad energy we give that hour. And you see prayer make me give that a chance.
The latest, and the hottest, and the baddest, and the maddest interview and review. Yo, Yardstyle live. I must see me and me with that to home, see them fight me. Yeah, don't did I expect the worst, so then no surprise me. Today I wanna do the right thing, I'm in the cure who no like me. See the hot cocoa, the man run up if you feel like you're mighty. The spring feel next day, never disappoint me. Some live my life, me I do what I want do. I'm with classes, me not argue.